car in, they got our hardware on. Now, this is where our grill comes in. Okay? We're not going to install the grill, but we're going to use the grill to line the latch up. So what you want to do is take your grill shell like we did at the beginning of our hood insulation project. Stick it in there, just like so. Be careful that your hood doesn't fall. You don't have to have it lined up perfect. All we're doing is holding this panel out. So when we let our hood down. Now I haven't let the hood down yet. So let's see what it looks like. Okay. It's hitting right here, so we're going to pull that out. Because all we're going to do, all we're using the grill shell for is to line it up. And if you look, the hood lines up good. If you notice, the body line's looking nice. The next thing that we need to do, and this is a very precise part of the job, is mount these little things. These are our latches that latch the hood down. If you don't do these properly, what's going to happen is when you mount the hood, it's going to bow up like this, okay? Or it's going to be way far out, and it's going to mess your gap up, or it's going to be out here like this, and you're going to have a big gap here. And that's when you start hollering, screaming, getting mad, saying, you know, this car's a piece of junk. We don't want that. We want to make it easy. I went ahead and sanded these marks off because that was just temporary to put our screws on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that up, and I'm going to find the center of this hole and put an arrow right there. I'm also going to do that right here. Find the center of that hole, and this has to be, this here is your most crucial part of mounting the hood. Okay, so I got that. So now all I got to do is line it up here, just like that. And I'm going to line this line up like that. And if you notice, I'm not putting no pressure on the hood. Then I'm going to take my two latches. I'm going to open the hood again. I always use a hood prop. And I'm going to push the hood latch open and let that latch down in there. And you can reach up in through your hole or through your grill shell to do that. And I want to get those lined up where they're nice and even. Make sure it's latched down in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the hood down again. I'm going to line my two marks up by eye. Just like that. Make sure that's sitting straight. Make sure they're sitting straight. I'm going to line them up. Line my two marks up. I'm going to take my pencil, kind of go around it right here, see? And that's where our hood should bolt on. Now, to double check that, I'm going to take my latches out, just like so. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line across here. Nice and easy. And it shows me that those are lining up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the hood again. Make sure everything's lined up right. I have to pull the grill out because what's going to happen, the grill is going to push on the hood. All we're using the grill for is to line everything up. Okay, make sure that's lined up. Look up in there nice and easy. Always double check everything. Because if you don't double check it, you're going to screw it up. Okay, it looks like we're doing good right here. That one's lined up real good. And this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one in just a little bit here. from where the center is. I'm gonna make a cross. Then I'm gonna come over here, and this one here, it's lined up real good. Okay. Now, we got our hood marked out where our latches go. The next thing we gotta do is when Streetbeats sends these items to you, it's a metric thread. We're gonna go ahead and run a die on that and make it a 5/16. That's actually 8mm. We're going to make it 5/16 American standard thread. And then we're going to drill this out, tap it out to 5/16, and we're going to, instead of installing a bolt back there, we're going to use that, and we're going to screw that in. We're going to use washers, okay, the same diameter as this, to adjust the hood to the proper height. So let me get all that 5/16 thread. Die it out, die. This is a die, there's a difference. This is a die and that's a tap. I've already lubed this up. And we're changing them threads from metric to standard. That is ready for use, and if you look at the difference here, we got the metric threads here. If you have a metric tap, and that's a fine thread, not a coarse, you can go ahead and tap it out for that if you want. I find it easier to go ahead and make everything standard on it so we don't have no metric nothing. So that's tapped out, ready to go. I got to tap that one out, then we're going to drill the holes. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these holes out and I'm going to tap them for those latches to screw into. I've already marked them, as you notice. I'm going to go ahead and drill them out. I drilled and tapped our holes and I screwed these in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and if you watch very closely, the hood lays in there very nice. Now, pull your latch, make sure everything's latching. Okay. If you notice, this one's hitting in there, but it's not latching. So that's telling me that the latch is too high up for the catch to catch it. So what I got to do is I got to add a spacer washer in between the latch and the hood so the latch will actually go down farther in there. And once again, the grill is just on here for, you know, lineup purposes. It's not permanently installed. We haven't done nothing. So I'm going to take this off. Take my spacer washers. I'm going to go ahead and start with 2 of them. That's usually what you need. So I got 2 spacer washers, and I'm going to go ahead and put it back on there. This is not going to make my hood stick up any higher. All this is going to do is force the latch to go deeper down into the catch. So you want to make sure that's lined up. Just like that. Now we're going to try it again. I'm going to pull my rod. Get that to latch down on there, just like that. And everything. We have just completed installing the hood on our 34 Ford Streetbeats coupe. Everything lines up good. I still got to take a washer out of here because I don't like that gap. So later, before I'll make a note on the panel before I paint it, and what that's going to do, that's going to drop this down and line all this up. I got to take 1 washer out because I started out with 3, I believe, and that's going to bring us down. We got our hood lined up perfect over here on the latch side. That looks great. Everything latches up good. When we get our rubber seal in there, it's going to look great. The next procedure that we are going to do is grill installation.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It's just a long